Hi everybody, and welcome to the Stamperia Sir Vagabond and Fantasy World mini album tutorial series. This is designed for scrap and create, so all of these products will be linked in the description box below, and we will run through them here in just a moment. I'm just giving you a look first at the box that I have created for my album. And I'm going to pull the album out of here so you can have a quick peek at what it looks like too. Now everything will be linked, and like I said, we will flip through so you can see those products as well. So almost all of them have come from the Scrap and Create website. 2 of them are linked in my Etsy shop. So you see all those charms on the spine, and then here is the album. Now there is a completely separate flip through video where you can see all of the inside pages of the album to decide if you are wanting to make it. This is just the supply list video, and then each of the different parts of the tutorial will have a separate video. So we'll go through all of the ways to build the album, starting with the cover and the pages, and then how to decorate it. If you are looking to make this album, then stay tuned for the rest of this video where we'll go through all the supplies that you'll need. First, we're going to begin with all of the products that are available on the Scrap and Create website. Everything will be linked in the description box below. Starting with the Sir Vagabond in Fantasy World, we've got the 12 by 12 double-faced sheets and the 12 by 12 background papers. Then I also have both of those, the backgrounds and the double-faced sheets, in the 8 by 8 size. And then I have the adhesive paper cutouts. I also have these 2 rice papers, so I've got 1 of each, and I'm going to be using these rice papers for the storage box that I'm making for my album. So if you are only making the album itself and you don't want to make the storage box, you will not need these rice papers unless you wanted to purchase them to use somewhere else. When you purchase the entire collection like this from Scrap and Create, they will give you coordinating charms to match the collection. So I have several of these different charms here. I'm just gonna lay them out and show you all of these different things, and I will be using these throughout my album. My magnets have also come from Scrap and Create, so these are basic gray. I've got the smaller ones. They do have larger magnets too, so if you like larger than this size, you can get those on the Scrap and Create website too. One other supply that is available on the Scrap and Create website are these Graphic 45 Ornate metal corners. Now they come in an 8-pack, but I am only using these ones. I'm using 2 sets though, so I have a lot of these. If you only wanted to use 1 set and put them on the front of your box, you can. And also, these are only used on the box, so you will not be using these on your actual album itself. So if you're not planning on making the box, you will not need to purchase these. And if you do want to make the box like mine, you'll need 2 sets of these, so you have 8 of these corners. I'm going to be using Kraft cardstock for the base of my album, so I have my pack of 50 sheets here. If you would like to use a different color, you can obviously go ahead and do that. Pick up whatever cardstock you prefer. For the base of the album, I've got my heavyweight chipboard sheets here. I've already cut mine down, so I have my pieces for my cover. I start out with 2 8.5 by 11 sheets, and I do have some left over here, but this is what I will be using. So 2 sheets of that will be enough. I have one of these little closures. I don't know what to actually call them. I purchased mine several years ago. I will look and see if I can find where I purchased these. If so, I will link them down below. But you can use any kind of closure that you want, but this is the type that I'm going to be using for mine. And then I do have some brads here that I will be using. These ones are just an assortment, so I will see which color looks best when I go to use them. And since I'll be holding these on, it'll probably be this color or closer to this color. For my album, I will also be using these decorative edge dies in my die cutting machine to add some additional decoration to my pages. If you have followed along with my Stamperia Sunflower Art mini album tutorial, you may have already purchased these from me. So if you did, you don't need to buy another set. They're the same exact dies. You can purchase these from my Etsy shop while I continue to have these in stock. There are 7 dies that you will be getting. We will only be using 3 of the set, but they are coordinating dies. So these will be linked in the description box below. Now, if you don't want to use these, you do not have to use these. You can just cut your pages straight across. You can hand draw a template and make one that way if you don't have a die cutting machine, or if you have another set of dies that you would prefer to use, you could also use those. Next, we're going to go through the basic supplies that you will need. So I have my scoring board here that has my trimmer blade back on it. I decided to try to use it because I'm having a lot of problems with my cutting blades. They don't seem to be working very well. They seem to be tearing up the paper. I've also got my Fiskars trimmer here. So you need your scoring board and your paper trimmer. I have my ruler, my regular scissors, my fussy cutting scissors, my Kraft knife, my piercing tool, and my bone folder, and my pencil. For adhesive, I will be using my typical tacky glue. And then for my rice paper, I have my Mod Podge and my foam brush. Now, if you're not going to be using the rice papers, you don't need something like this for your mini album itself. So this is just if you're using the rice papers. I am going to be using some eyelets and my crocodile for the spine of my album. If you do not have a crocodile or eyelets or a setting tool, you do not absolutely have to do this. It is purely decorative here. So I'm going to flip this and show you where you'll see the charms hanging off of the spine here. So you do not need to use eyelets if you don't want this look. If you don't want these on there, you don't have to do that. Now, I also added chain here to hang my charms. So that is something else. There's nothing like this inside of the album, so it's only on the outside cover. So if you do not want to do this, you don't have to use any of these. You can just take those off of your supply list. Now, this is an optional supply. You do not have to make this if you don't want to, but if you are interested in a box for your album, I do have this one here that will be available for purchase in my Etsy shop. It is just the wooden MDF. It does not come with these little clasps here, so you can decide how you are going to put your box together. Whether you use these or not, or you find something else to hold it together, is completely up to you. But this will be linked in the description box below if you want to purchase this. Now, if you want to make a box and you have a box that you want to use, that's perfectly fine too. I did forget to mention, if you purchase this box from my shop, it will not come assembled. It will be flat packed and you will put it together. It's very simple. It just snaps together, and I will use glue to actually glue mine together to keep it together permanently. In addition to the box, I am using some of these wooden gears that I have available in my Etsy shop as well. And I'm actually using 2 packages of these for my album and my box. If you don't want to use these, you do not have to use these. They are purely for decorative purposes. Now, these are 1/8 inch thick. They're MDF wood, just like the box. If you don't like that thick of an embellishment, I actually have these also available in my Etsy shop in chipboard. So they're cream. You can paint them, you can use markers, you can color them in a lot of different ways. So if you want flatter embellishments and you wanted to use some of these, you could purchase those in chipboard. The final thing that I used on my box is these closures. So just like on my album, I'm going to use 2 of these, and I actually used the screws that came with it instead of brads. Since this MDF is wood, I just screwed it right through there. It seemed to work really well. So this is it for the supplies that you will need to make the album and the box, which is optional. Don't forget to click on all those links in the description box below. That'll take you directly to those products on the Scrap and Create website, as well as things that you can purchase in my Etsy shop if you choose to do so. I'll see you in the tutorial.